But this is a serious topic, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. I mean, by a huge amount. There's even articles in major magazines talking about this. How is it that a 20, 25, almost 30, 35, 40-year-old male or female, they're not having sex? Well, we have a whole DVD called Sexless and Married, and I go through several reasons why. I'm going to share a couple of those with you because they might be applying to you. Let's go down kind of the medical side of it first. Depression, okay? Someone who's having challenges with sleep, difficulty concentrating, difficulty making decisions, worthless feelings. Their energy's low globally, not just around sex, and they have low sexual desire. Well, that could be depression, but that also could be the next one, which is low thyroid, because low thyroid has exactly the same symptoms, including a low sexual desire. Another thing, of course, is hormones. And I know in your 20s, your hormones should be strong and all that should be good, but it's good to get that checked out because low testosterone in women and in men can lead to having that kind of no sex relationship. And so those are medical things. You can go to the doctor, you can get those checked out, get a hormone panel, get your thyroid checked out, evaluate yourself for depression. There's lots of tests online you can do that with, because that might be a factor. Other factors are not necessarily medical. Sexual abuse, or never talking about your sexual abuse, could be a huge reason why there's no sex in the marriage. Because the person who's been sexually abused is internally trying to avoid sexuality because sexuality caused so much pain and trauma. Now that can be healed. I have lots of counselors in my office. You can do phone counseling. There's people who specialize in that. Sexual abuse is a real thing. I've been sexually abused. I understand. I've literally helped thousands of women and men get and deal with sexual abuse. And you have to deal with it. Otherwise, it's going to affect your sexuality. And I've seen many men and women go back to having healthy sexuality afterwards. Another reason that you can be having deadbed kind of stuff going on, I address in the book called Upgrade Your Sex Life, because you don't understand each other's sexual expression or language. You know, one person wants to have sex and fun, the other person wants to have patience with sexuality. And finding out what your particular sex language is, because you might be missing each other, could be an issue. Now, communication, believe it or not, can be a simple issue. This is simple. I'll never forget this very attractive, intelligent, both highly successful people sitting in my office really early in my counseling career. And they came in because they weren't having sex, and they would fit this category. They were probably in their high 20s, early 30s. And they were having sex maybe once every 4, 6, 8 weeks or so. And they didn't understand why not. So they came to see me. And I went through various things that I'm going through with you and other things as well. And they didn't really apply. And I'm like, okay, well, how often, sir, do you want to have sex? And he said 2 or 3 times a week. And I said, ma'am, how often would you like to have sex? She said 2 or 3 times a week. And I'm like, you both want sex 2 or 3 times a week, but you're only having it for 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, so what is your reasoning on this? Well, I'm waiting for her to initiate. Ma'am, what is it? Well, I'm waiting for him to initiate. Oh, so you both think the other person should be initiating sex, so nobody's initiating sex and we're not having sex. Well, in the Upgrade Your Sex Life, we talk about creating a sexual agreement, and they were able to create a sexual agreement and have sex 2 or 3 times a week the rest of their life. This was many years ago. Decades ago, actually. And so it could be as simple as communicating how often we want to have sex and rotating initiation back and forth so that you're both good at that. So in Upgrade Your Sex Life, they were able to figure this out and be able to have that discussion. And you want to rotate your sexuality back and forth. And if you're not good at that, then sit in 2 chairs, face each other, and practice asking each other to be sexual. I want to make love to you. I want to be sexual with you. I want to take you upstairs and I want to ravish you and make love to you. Be clear and let the other person say, yes, that'd be fantastic. And practice that back and forth. I can tell you I've worked with probably about 5,000 couples, and less than 1% are good at initiating sex, which impacts how often you have sex. So if you're not good at that, you can get the Upgrade Your Sex Life book and get good at that because you want to get good at that. Another thing that can affect this, and this is a huge problem, And I saved it for last because not last, but I saved it for towards the end because this is a big issue, and that is porn addiction. If a man or woman has been masturbating to pornography, they have literally attached their sexual template, because when you have an orgasm, you get the highest level of endogenous opiates, hits the prefrontal cortex of your brain, and boom, you're glued to whatever that is. And they are literally glued to a fantasy world, a porn world, a world where they don't have to show up emotionally, spiritually. They don't have to be present. They are disconnected in an altered state, and they get their sexual release in that altered state. And so therefore, in the real conscious state, they are not sexually skilled at all. And so they oftentimes feel not confident. They will close their eyes, not be present, or they have to fantasize even during real sexual encounters to be able to achieve an orgasm, whether they're a man or a woman. And if this is going on, sexual addiction, go to sexaddict.com, sexaddict.com. Lots of resources there. We got lots of YouTubes on that, on the 6 types of sex addicts and different things you can find out. And if you're a spouse of that, you definitely want to get some information on that as well.